In this video, I'm going to try to use this UI, FeralUI, as you can see, this one in here. There's a lot of beautiful component and so unique. As you can see, like a pull cord, for example, this one in here, if you pull like this, it basically will toggle the dark mode. I love that. And also we have this claw cap car, right? As you can see, we can pick the dinosaurs, for example. I can just move like this, then just grab. Then as you can see, we get that dinosaurs, gonna put it like this, then just drop it. And here we go. It's verify. Cool. Then also there's a couple things like a gradient builder in here, right? You can put or select the type whatever you want, like sky, aurora, masses, whatever. Then this is the preset color, right? Pretty cool. You can change whatever in here, the flat, curve. So let me try to go back and the motion view, right? As you can see, the orbit, stack, that's pretty nice. And there is a flicker here, slide, and as you can see, there's a couple like a template in here that you can just implement. To use that, pretty simple. You can go to code, then this is basically the code that you can just copy and paste to your project. And of course, you can always export that as a video loop or image basically. Also DexFolio, if I click that, then as you can see, we have the Dex in here. If I click that book, I can open that like this. I can basically turn on the light in here like that. All right. Then there's a lot of things like a blob in here, like take a look at this character in here, right? It's moved like that. There's a couple skin in here that you can use. Also the any maps, right? You can put anything in here, right? The city, whatever. Then you can export that as a video or image, whatever. So we can just play that like this and just look like that. Pretty cool, right? We are going to try some of these components, like maybe I'm going to try to use the pull cord first. I think because this is pretty nice, right? So this is basically just a package, guys. So you can just install that using this command in here. Just copy that. And I'm going to use that component into the React application using fit with a React.js template. First, of course, we need to install the package pull cord. So now let's try to see how we can using that. So in here, I'm going to go back to the FeralUI. Then as you can see here, this is the way we render that basically. So I'm going to copy all of that, then try to go to open code, then render this pull cord in the app.tsx. Just paste that code and just hit enter. This is done, so let's take a look what we get. I'm going to open localhost 5173, then as you can see, this is the result. Then basically I can pull like this, and the dark mode and light mode is not work for now. Let's take a look what we get on app.tsx and just change the state basically and not do anything with the dark mode functionality. So let's try to implement the dark mode functionality here. I'm going to use really simple prompt in here, make the pull cord toggle dark mode work. That's it. So let's take a look. Then inside the index.css, it's also adding this root data theme. If the data theme is dark, it's basically change the background variable here to this color, then etc. So let me try this, and it is work. Pretty nice. And I add some text, and this is what we get. So let's try, and it's still working, by the way. Right, pretty cool. So let's try to just move to another component. Just for fun, I'm going to try to install the claw capka in here, the play capka, the package name. So I'm going to copy that package name, then just install it basically. Before I implement the claw capka in here, I like to just create the login page maybe. So I'm going to paste this prompt, build a simple login form with email and password. This is the simple login page. We have just email and password. So now let's try to implement the claw capka. So basically I'm going to copy this, the usage, copy that, then go back to my open code. Then as you can see in here, I just say like add claw capka before user login and paste that code. Just that's it. And basically we not get any characters in here. So let's try to open the GitHub. This is basically the play capka GitHub. As you can see on the play capka GitHub repository, we have this asset folder. I'm going to copy that link and go to the download GitHub directory URL in here. Just paste that, then hit enter, and hopefully this is working. And yeah, it grabbed all of those and it's basically download that, and here we go. This is what we have, all the asset that we need. On the public folder, I'm going to create a folder called called toys. Then inside that, I just want to copy and paste all the file inside that toys folder. Then as you can see here, we have all that asset, and pretty good. I'm not doing anything with the code, but as you can see, all the asset is just a drop in here automatically, and it just automatically works. As you can see, if I grab like this and yellow dock, if I grab that like this, and yep, we get that. Then if I release, and here we go, right? Nice, it's verified. Cool. So now I'm gonna make that on center maybe. So just kind of fixing some styling. As you can see now, the card is basically on the center, pretty nice. But as you can see, if I refresh, the peak in here is always dark. Every time I refresh, it's always dark. The problem is because this claw cap card, the target is always dark. So we need to make sure this should be dynamic. So my prompt is pretty simple. Please make the target value in the claw cap card dynamic. Just that's it. This is done, so let's take a look what we get. And as you can see on the top in here is first create the array, the toys. Then as you can see, it's running the mat.floor. Great. So as you can see now we have the dinosaurs. If I refresh that, puppy, panda. So let's try to grab the panda. I'm going to move that like this, then grab the panda. Here we go. Great. Then I can move that like this, then release, drop. Here we go. Then as you can see now we have the email and password, but of course I need to this box, it should be gone, right? It should be hide. And of course you can try to use another components, things like the motion view maybe. I found this is really cool. As you can see the basic here, like a flicker, slide, grid, Mercue, whatever. And as you can see, that's pretty nice. There's a lot of preset in here. I love it. So here I'm going to copy that. Then let's try to go back here. And first I'm going to commit that first. So my prompt is create new component and render this, paste that into app.tsx. So as you can see, this is the result. Look pretty nice. But the problem is I'm not sure where we have to put the images, because in here we don't have like a information where we have to put that image, right? So I'm not asking the AI to say like where I have to put the image. So let's try to hit enter, then hopefully we get the response. Finally, the AI say we have to put the images inside the public/motion view folder. So what I'm going to do right now is just randomly download asset images from internet. So let's try to just download that, maybe this image and another one, right? I already put two images inside the motion view folder, 01 and 02 in here. But the problem is the image still not render. I'm not sure what happened. So let's try to open the motion view and search for the image. Then as you can see in here, the image is basically looking for the motion view /emg dash. So we don't have that file with this format. So I'm going to remove that emg dash. Then not WebP, because I'm using GPG in here, so we can just use that format like this. So now let's take a look. If I refresh that, then hopefully now the image should be rendered, like the 1, then also 2 in here, right? Works. That's pretty nice. And of course, you can put all the image that you need, like a 01, 02 until 20, or whatever the image count that you want to put in here. And of course, you always can try another component, and that's also beautiful, like the blob, animaps, and vacuum in here, just whatever, right? Just whatever you want to try, just try it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. See you on another video.